First up is the Titan vacuum. The on-off switch is on the top along with the serial number for the Weber cleaning vacuum. To tip it backwards, you're going to simply hold the base and push it back and forth. Next, we talk about cord care. So these cords all come with this little piece at the top to attach it, just like I've shown you, and that's to protect the cord from being pulled out of the top. Now, when you wrap up your cord, it's really important to actually straighten your cord while you roll it up. What happens over time is that the cord gets twisted as you vacuum and pull the cord around through hallways and back and forth and kind of roll over itself. It gets twisted up, and those wires inside can actually get twisted and snap inside the cord. And so if you straighten the cord each time you roll it up, you're going to make the cord last longer. It's important to secure it with whatever attachments you have. It's going to keep the cord nice and neat no matter how many times you use it. Always remember to pull the plug out from the wall. Do not pull it with the cord. The vacuum bag is very easy to change on the Titan vacuum. It's just a cardboard piece in the back that pushes on and off the hose. The dotted line on the bag tells you how full it can get. You will not want to go above that line ever, so make sure you check your bag frequently. If you are vacuuming at a location that has a lot of rocks, you're going to want to change it sooner than that line because it will stop suctioning appropriately. And so you're just going to push that cardboard piece onto it and then kind of fluff up the bag so that it's ready to go. There are two filters on this Titan vacuum. This one here has the white top, and that when it turns dark and brown, that's a good time to change that one out. The HEPA filter underneath is the same way. You're going to notice if you check it frequently that it will start to get darker and darker over time, and then it's going to need to be replaced. Always clean your vacuum as you go. The hose is very convenient on this vacuum to clean and check for clogs and plugs. That little piece just kind of flips open, and so you can look inside. That's where it attaches to the bag. The hose is removable from the wand by pushing the button. The wand is extendable, and all of these pieces are fairly short, and so you can see into them. Easy to find clogs or any dirt or debris, or if you suck up a paper clip or anything like that to remove it. Then there's a clip on the bottom that removes the hose. This is the part that comes from the brush roll. And so you have a short section there. You can kind of extend it out and look through that easily to figure out if there's anything clogged or plugged in there. So make sure these are troubleshooting things that you do before you call for help on your vacuum cleaner. Next, we're going to change the belt. That's an easy thing to do on these vacuums. You do not need any special tools or equipment to do so. Just unclip the silver part and then move this little black piece. It just lifts up and slides to the side. And then you can easily pull the brush roll up. This is also a great time to clean your brush roll, remove all of the hair and the strings and the different things that you pick up over time that you may not flip over and actually see. This is a good time to take and do that. You can use the scissors to do that very easily. So you're just going to want to lift the brush roll up, take that little silver piece out, and then you can just slide the belt right off of the vacuum cleaner. And you can see that it gets cracked pretty easily. It's a very easy thing to change. They're probably going to be changed frequently because they're cheap, but that's okay. It's an easy thing to do right on your location. So just slide that end on first, and then you're going to put your brush roll through it. Now, because it's new, it's going to be a little bit tight. You're going to have to pull and stretch it out to fit your brush roll back into place, which is, it's not hard to do at all. Just make sure you're sitting in a nice location. Then you just want to slowly turn the brush roll to get your belt into the correct position. You don't want it to be touching either side, so it's rubbing on anything. You want to make sure that it spins freely in there, so that will help prolong the life of the brush roll. Make sure you put all the pieces back together correctly. When you go to close it back up, you're going to want to slide and turn the black piece into place first, and then put the silver cover on and just snap it shut. To check your brush roll, you just want to make sure you rub your hand over it. If you can feel the bristles, then it's okay. If you can't feel them, take it in. Next is the reset button. When your machine stops running for any reason, unplug your vacuum, press this reset button, plug it in, and you should be good to go. Next, we have the Maytag. The serial number is going to be located at the top there. And to tip this one back, you are going to press the lever before tipping it, and that will tip it back all the way. If you press it again, you can actually lay this vacuum flat to go underneath of couches. The button to turn it on is the switch is at the top, and then there is a carpet button to get ready to vacuum carpet. To roll up the hose here, you're going to want to be careful of those wires again. This one comes from the underside of the handle, and so it's a little bit less likely to break at that connection point. But again, you're going to want to make sure you straighten out your cord every time you wrap it up. It's going to help prevent you from breaking those wires inside of that cord. Just like with all plugs, make sure you're pulling it from the wall, not pulling the cord. As you can see here, this one has been pulled out of the wall before because the cord is starting to come apart here and need to be replaced. This machine has a lever here that you have to line up the arrows in order to run the vacuum brush roll or to run the hose and attachment tools. If the arrows do not line up, it will not run correctly, so make sure you pay attention to that. This one also detaches very nicely. There is a button to detach it from the wand. The hose completely removes from the machine. And then this machine, unfortunately, has some screws, but just a couple, and you can actually take it apart to see all the way through and inside the machine to find any clogs, any paper clips, anything you might have sucked up that is causing the machine not to run. It's only a Phillips screwdriver, so it doesn't take a lot to get to these parts. This is where the hose connects and comes in. It runs down the back, and then it comes to where I just removed the hose part, that plastic piece. It comes down through the middle as well, and then where I'm taking these screws off, this is where it actually goes into the brush head, the vacuum head. So it's a very easy connection. It's very easy to find. Just a couple Phillips head screws. So if your vacuum seems to be plugged, these are things you can do very easily on location before having to call for some assistance there. Screw them back together. Just make sure you get them attached completely so you don't get dust kind of flying out from everywhere. Just takes a couple seconds to do. And then everything clips back together really neat and easy to get that vacuum running again. I will say this on repeat, but it's always important to clean as you go and to keep your equipment neat and clean. I have repeatedly said you cannot clean with dirty equipment, and the same goes for your vacuum. Vacuums create static electricity, and they will attract the dust and the dirt that they are trying to clean up. So please take the time to wipe your vacuum down once in a while. The vacuum bag is extremely easy to switch on these. The wonderful thing about them is they have a nice little clip at the top. You do not want to make them more than halfway full though, because the way they rest, they will pull against that back again as well, and it will actually start to suck the bag to the hole instead of put the dirt and debris back into the bag. But this one, it just clips on, snaps, you'll hear a little click. You snap it back off, and when you lift it up, it actually closes the bag for you, so you do not have that little poof of dust. There are 3 filters on the Maytag vacuum. This one is extremely dirty, but there's one that clips inside by the bag. Then there is one below the bag, that's the HEPA filter, and that one should not be dark and dirty like that. This one definitely needs to be changed out. Then there is a small little filter in the front. That's just kind of an air filter, and so you can blow those out. You don't have to change those every single time. And again, wipe your vacuum down, clean up that junk and dirt in there. This one is actually full of rocks and dirt, as you can see when I tip it over to pull it out. It's really helpful to keep your vacuum neat and clean like that to dust this out. Now this one is an office vacuum that just goes to dirty locations, construction jobs, or maybe it's even used for parts. Same thing goes true for the brush roll on this Maytag vacuum. Run your hands over the bottom if you can feel the bristles. Passed, then you're okay. If not, then it's time to change them out. Reset button is located in the back right here. If your vacuum stops running, unplug it, press the button, and try it again. Last vacuum is the Versamatic. The on and off switch is up here. In order to pull this one back, you'll want to keep it standing, release that yellow lever, and then you may tip it back. Serial number is located at the top as well. This one has a nozzle or a dial to change the brush roll settings. It also has some little lights up here to tell you if there is a problem with the brush roll and to change that setting. To release the cord, the swivel is at the bottom on the Versamatic vacuum to help release and remove the cord. You'll want to be careful up here not to pull that down too hard. That's where it connects into the machine, and that is the place where those wires are going to break and fray if you aren't careful. So before you wrap it up, you'll want to lift that. Same thing goes, straighten your cord as you go. To remove the vacuum bag on the Versamatic, you're going to want to not do what I'm about to do here. It's going to have about a half full situation as well. Oops. I have to make sure, that you pull this lever before you actually release the vacuum bag, and then it comes off really nicely for you, but it does not cover itself, and so dust will potentially come out if you do not do it properly. There are 2 filters on this vacuum as well. You have the green one in underneath. That is an air filter. Change that one out when it's nice and brown. Clean as you go. You're going to want to change this bag also when it's half full. And the second filter is up front. You're going to want to lay the vacuum back, unclip it. This is another little air filter. Sorry, that other one was the HEPA filter. This is the air filter. And you can blow those out and brush them out to keep them kind of clean in there. The hose on this one is a little bit different. There is a button down in there that engages the brush roll. And so if your hose is not, or the wand is not properly attached in there, it will not turn on. So if it doesn't want to engage the brush roll, that's what you'll want to check. This one releases very nicely from the wand. There's some little buttons there, and there's only one way to place it back into there, into the wand, and so the hose comes off really neatly there. And then you can go and check in the wand for clogs. And then it also releases up at the top. Yep, so you can check down in there to the brush roll. And then there's a little release here. If you push on those, then the hose will release from the machine there. And then that part is what goes directly into the vacuum bag. Makes it very easy to put it back together, easy to find any clogs. If your hose gets really dirty, you can take it easily in and wash it there as well. There's also a little door down at the bottom to look for clogs. Just beware in case that thing breaks off. Then there's 2 places you can check the brush roll. You can check the bottom just to make sure that the bristles are long enough. And then in here, if you push that little button, you can release this on the end, and that's how you can remove the brush roll or check for problems. The reset button for the Versamatic vacuum is inside the vacuum bag chamber, and same thing, unplug it first. Again, I always recommend wiping off our machines when we use them. Do it frequently to keep them neat and clean and performing at their best level. Now, when actually vacuuming a room, especially in a top to bottom or a construction clean, or in a space with thick pile carpet, you're going to want to start in the farthest corner away from you. You want to take out your hose and vacuum all of the edges and all of the baseboards. And then starting in that back corner, you're going to work your way out of the room, vacuuming back and forth methodically in nice straight lines. This is going to leave nice vacuum lines. It's also going to make sure that you don't leave footprints on the freshly cleaned carpet. It's also going to help make sure that you get every square inch of that carpet, especially if it's a top to bottom or a construction cleaning. We want to make sure we hit every surface of this carpet. Now, I know you were instructed to do this differently at your last meeting, and that's maybe okay in a location where you are vacuuming more frequently, or in a space where vacuum lines don't matter, or if you have a big machine. But in a lot of our locations, it may not be quite as efficient, and it may be a little bit harder on our shoulders, but sometimes the easy way is not the better way. And so in a lot of situations, we're actually going to want to make sure we vacuum back and forth in this pattern. The other thing to remember is that a vacuum actually picks up more dirt and debris when pulling it backwards, back towards you. And that's because you're going in the opposite direction of that brush roll. And so you're going to vacuum up better that way. And so we highly recommend that you go very slowly forward and very slowly backwards towards you before going to the next space. It's going to ensure that you have a better vacuum. Again, wrap up your cord nice and neat, making sure to straighten it as you go, get any of those twists or wrinkles out of it. And then it's very easy just to carry a rag on you and quick wipe your vacuum down when you're done. Help keep it clean and free from that dust and ready to go for the next time.